According to Section 3 of the New York State Notary Public License Law 2023, a person is ineligible for the office of Notary Public if they have been convicted of violating which of the following acts? Fill in the blanks to complete the law. No person is eligible for the office of Notary Public who has been convicted of a violation of the blank enacted May 18, 1917, or the acts amendatory or supplemental thereto, or of the blank, or the acts amendatory thereof or supplemental thereto. Well, let's have a look at that Section 3 Public Officers Law, part of the Notary Public License Law booklet, and read the full paragraph, which states, no person is eligible for the office of Notary Public who has been convicted of a violation of the Selective Draft Act of the U.S. enacted May 18, 1917, or the acts amendatory or supplemental thereto, or of the Federal Selective Training and Service Act of 1940, or the acts amendatory thereof or supplemental thereto. So the first blank we already know will be filled in by this portion, which states the Selective Draft Act of the U.S. enacted May 18, 1917. And the second part will be filled in by Federal Selective Training and Service Act of 1940. So with that in mind, let's have a look at our four choices to determine the solution. Choice A states Espionage Act and Military Selective Service Act of 1967. Well, this does not align with the two choices that I highlighted before, therefore choice A is not the correct solution. Choice B states Selective Draft Act of the U.S., Federal Selective Training and Service Act of 1940. So let's look at the first one, Selective Draft Act of the U.S. That's what's stated here, Selective Draft Act of the U.S., enacted May 18, 1917, as it were. And the second part of that is the Federal Selective Training and Service Act of 1940, and that's what's stated over here, the Federal Selective Training and Service Act of 1940. Therefore, choice B seems to be our solution, but before we mark it as such, let's have a look at the other two choices just to be certain. Choice C states Alien and Sedition Acts, Federal Selective Service Act of 1917. This is incorrect, and we can mark off choice C as the incorrect solution. And finally, choice D states Selective Service Act of 1917, Uniform Code of Military Justice. These two are not the acts as well that are listed in that paragraph, and choice D is not the correct solution, which indeed leaves choice B, Selective Draft Act of the U.S., Federal Selective Training and Service Act of 1940, as the correct solution.